I'm going to be making a Chainsaw Man inspired custom pair of jeans. Now, Chainsaw Man is undoubtedly an S tier anime, and I loved it so much that I went and read the manga. I feel for Denji. But we're going to take some cool elements from his character and turn them into an awesome custom. Now, this is a series where I take some of your favorite animes and turn them into custom jeans. So comment down below what anime you'd like to see me do next. My name is Kenny, and on this channel I do fashion DIYs, customs, upcycling, and well, we talk a bit about fashion too. So let's get to it.
So I have my pants here and I have my seam ripper. So I'm gonna start by taking my seam ripper and opening up the side seams till about here. Then I'm gonna do the same on the inside seam, and I'm gonna open up the inside seam till about right here. I don't want to completely open it up. Okay, so as you can see, I have opened up both the side seams, the outer leg and the inner leg, all the way down to the bottom. Now, using my chalk, I'm going to draw out the Chainsaw Man face on the pants, getting the placements and the proportions right, drawing out the eyes, the teeth, and everything else that's going to be a part of this. Now I'm drawing lines on the left leg of my pants to plot out the positioning and shape of the spiral that I want. Now I've drawn out all the patterns and lines that I want for my Chainsaw Man face. So I have gone and I have measured all these different lines of all the different pieces, and I measured them and I wrote them down on this piece of paper, taking all these measurements into account. So now I've redrawn this onto a pattern using my ruler and taking these measurements into account. This is what I will then use to make my template to cut out onto fabric. So now I'm done cutting out all my pattern pieces. These will now be used as a template to cut out fabric. I got this nice orange fabric, and this is what I'm going to use to cut out my pattern pieces. Here I am pinning my patterns to the orange fabric. So I finished cut them out, and these are the pieces that I will use for the spiral on the left leg. Here you can see I have frayed the edges and it looks pretty good. Now I'm going to take my pattern piece that I've cut out on fabric, take out the pins. Here you can see this is where I marked my seam allowance on my pattern, and so I'm just redrawing that seam allowance onto the fabric, going ahead and I'm pinning it to the jeans, the bottom and the top. And now we're going to sew it up. Here you can see a nice top view of it. I did 3 panels in the front and 3 panels at the back. So I finished sew up the left leg of the pants, and it's gonna have this really cool spiral effect when I sew the pants back up together. So now I'm gonna move on to the right leg of the pants, which is gonna have the Chainsaw Man face, the teeth, and this really cool tongue mechanism that I'm trying to achieve. Here I've taken out some calico fabric, pinned the teeth patterns to it, cut it out, and then I've pinned them together. Hey guys, if you're enjoying the video so far, be sure to drop a like. So I've sewn it up, but I've left the bottom of the teeth open. Now I'm cutting off the excess seam allowance and turning it inside out. I'm just marking my seam allowance here. So now I have my cone here, and I'm gonna go ahead and fill it up with some stuffing. And then I'm just gonna use this little scissor here of mine
just to push the stuffing down to the very corners so that it's nice and full. We've got all our teeth stuffed. Now that our teeth are done, we're gonna go ahead and cut right here in the middle, and then I've drawn 2 lines. The one at the bottom is where I'm going to go ahead and cut and then distress so that we can sew our teeth underneath. Now that I've cut this out, this piece here will be our back panel. So now we have our back layer and we have our top jean layer. So here I show that I folded, but I'm actually gonna distress it. You'll see that later on in the video. So our teeth will go underneath the jean layer, but in front of the back layer, and then sew all 3 of that together. Hey guys, if you're enjoying the video so far, be sure to drop a like. And here I'm done. I've sewn it all up together. Here we have the Chainsaw Man face, and so before we put it onto the pants, we have these eyes here. And so what I want to do is cut out these eyes and actually cover the eyes with this nice red fabric. I think the red eyes will look really cool. Now I am tracing out the eyes with the chalk and then cutting through the center so that we can fold those edges inwards. I've pinned it up, and this is how it's looking. Okay, so I've sewn it up. It looks pretty great. Here is the back, and well, it's looking pretty good. I must say this was pretty tough, especially having to sew these tiny edges. That was pretty hard. So before we can sew that, we're going to sew this, sew up on the top, on the sides, and sew this piece up to the top. Just want to do a little flex here with my cool ass anime stickers. Chainsaw Man, Gon, Goku-san, you know. Hey guys, if you're enjoying the video so far, be sure to drop a like. We now have sewn up that inside part. You can see we have a little pocket right here. Now, our next step is to take our Chainsaw Man face. We're gonna place him, pin him down, and line it up. You can see I've made my lines, so that's gonna line up. And then this edge here, I'm going to distress it. And then our teeth are also gonna be placed right under the jean fabric. Just place them in here like this, and then sew up all 3 of those layers.
Purchase your tracks today.
So while I was busy, I decided that I wanted to add a bottom jaw to the Chainsaw Man face to give it a more complete look. And so I'm going to add the teeth like I showed you guys before, and basically how I did the top is how I'm going to do the bottom. Okay, awesome. So you can see here, I've gone ahead, I've sewn up the teeth and the Chainsaw Man face
All 3 layers have been sewn up. And now when you look, you can see a completed Chainsaw Man face. I'm gonna go ahead and sew this part on now. And we're gonna cut a little hole in the center here. And this is where my pulley is gonna go through. That's gonna work through that mechanism that we made on the inside earlier. Now I'm going to do an embroidery type stitch around the edge. So now I'm going to make the tongue. I've cut this out in the calico fabric, so it's just gonna be a sample test so that we can see how it looks. So I'm gonna sew this and stuff this. Okay, and the tongue is done. I've stuffed it and it looks great. So let me just go ahead and put it in our little mechanism box that it fits into. Okay, boom, it looks awesome, just like that. We have the tongue sticking out and it's got enough space to move up and down. So I fed the string through our mechanism that we have at the back, and I have my tongue here. I sewed this little part here and I took my string and I tied it. So I've cut out some pockets from the orange fabric and I've also sewn in my logo on the front. Now we're just gonna fold our edges and sew it down. For my second pocket, I decided to make it look like Pochita and give it these cool googly eyes. This is my brand label, and of course I had to sew that on as well. Now I'm going to add some cuts, some rips and distressing to make the pants look beat up and give it more character. Now I'm splattering red paint to imitate blood for the gore. Now I have these triangles and I'm going to go through the same process that I did with the teeth by putting them together, sewing them, cutting off the extra seam allowance, stuffing it and then sewing it back up. Here I've sewn up these triangles and these are going to be sewn into the side seams of my pants as spikes. Now I'm going to make the triangle starting handle that we see on Denjis' chest in the anime. So I'm cutting up this old clothing hanger into 3 equal pieces. I'm burning up the edges so that they can melt together. And here we have our starting handle. I've also splattered red paint onto these triangles that will act as spikes. Now we're going to finish up the pants by sewing close the side seams, and I'm going to insert these triangle spikes by aligning them with the side seams and closing it all closed.
So I finished up with the pants, I sewed up all the side seams, and now all that's left is the big reveal.
俺も同じか。ポチタがいる幸せだけじゃ満足できなくて、もっといい生活を夢に見たんだ。そうか、みんな夢見ちまうんだな。じゃあ悪いことじゃねえ。悪いことじゃねえけど、邪魔すんなら。
The Chainsaw Man pants exceeded my expectations and came out amazingly. I got to add cool elements like Denji's Devilman face to it and make it 3D with the 3D teeth and the Chainsaw Man spikes on the side. I got to add the blood and scars and rips to cement the hardships that Denji had to go through as a devil hunter. Now, if you guys like the pants and if you enjoyed this video, then be sure to give it a nice big thumbs up. And be sure to comment what anime I should do next for my next custom. So thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe if you enjoyed this video and if you'd like to see more customs, DIYs, and just hear me blab on about fashion. Hope to see you in the next one.